Again, I want to thank Coach Bandstra for having me here. This is only my second time doing something like this, so bear with me as we go through the glitches. Um, I'm at Lakewood High School in Hebron, Ohio, building an elite program with Coach Lee. And my name is Coach Poulnott. I'm the offensive coordinator and O-line coach. My Twitter handle is @WarriorPride1 if you want to get up with me there. And give me some information because Lord knows I need it. The message I'm going to be working with today, or the premise behind this presentation, is using multiple RPOs to protect your run game and each other. Here's my line of thinking. Here are the RPOs that we're going to be introducing anyway. Is as far as what we do a lot at Lakewood. There are some other things that we stick in there, but these are our three bread and butters. You have our stick, our bubble, and what we call train, which is a now screen. We're using the multiple RPOs to help confuse the defense and create indecision and the reaction to the run game. At the same time, we're trying to confuse them and the reaction to each of the RPOs when we're running them separate from the run itself. When we're running a stick concept in our quick game, or we're running a bubble concept in our quick game, or we're running our train or now screen separated from any type of run influence. You know, how those three help each other and protect each other. As far as how the outside linebackers, wall defenders, or safeties react to those individual plays. So getting into it, like I said, that's it's not a lot of information there, but that's the gist of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to start with looking at some of our RPOs attached to our counter and how I think it influences the wall defenders and protects our run game. Here we're going to go through some sticks, and then we're going to go through what we call train, and then bubble, and look at how it influences these outside linebackers, anybody that could sneak back into the box and try to get into our run. So this is 26 to us, and we'll have a stick on the back side or a stick on the front side. And a lot of times we'll attach a train to the front side that we may or may not be reading, depending on what we're looking at, how the defense is responding. So let me go ahead and play this through. You'll see. We'll watch this reaction here. Okay, right now we've got two defenders with their back to the ball carrier. They're being completely influenced the way that we want them to. This guy's expanding, simulating the block on our train, and then the inside receiver, slot receiver on the back side of the run is darting in here and running our stick, and 40 is trying to wall him off on that route, which is fine with us, because if he commits to the outside and tries to take that receiver away, we're looking at a lot of grass at the second level. Then they may be able to close down on later in the play, but we're looking at a good pop open here. We're in grass, and safety's making tackles. We're having a good time. Now, just for those that aren't in the Ohio area or maybe not familiar with our conference, this is Licking Valley. So I didn't choose a lot of film against teams that we were going to be able to walk over. And Licking Valley played in the state championship game, and you'll hear a lot of air raid guys talk about how they want to play cover 3 teams, and traditionally Licking Valley is that cover 3 team. So I know they're in a 3-man front here, but that's not typical for them. So we were really able to take advantage of some space in their defense. Now they're bend don't break defense, and they were able to close us down, as we got inside the 20. But we did move the ball fairly well against them, and it's because of how we're able to influence their outside linebackers and get them out of the box. And we're in space right there running through as those linebackers have their backs to us. And again, it's not just against them, it's against other teams. Now we've got the same play called. We got 26 stick, essentially. And we'll tag it different ways to decide who we want to come in here and take advantage of this reaction of the defense. Okay. Southside linebackers flat foot. We're inside of them. We should have a pitch and catch right there. Get it on his hip. He catches that. We've got ourselves another 15-yard gain like we did on the run. And that's what we're trying to take advantage of is how is this wall defender going to play us? Okay. He didn't expand and wall us off. We were able to get on, inside of him. We've got an overreaction by the linebackers coming down. Okay, we got a pitch and catch right there, and it's a big game for us if we're able to pull that in. Going back to some Valley film here. Again, it's 26 counter. Okay, he's not expanding. Safety is playing way off. We've got ourselves a natural hole here. Okay, and we just go ahead and run a stick right behind him. Okay, and we're able to sneak in there because that safety backs out. Again, we're looking at who's taking care of the slot receiver. We got he's about 12 yards at the snap of the ball. Hey, this guy's not expanding the help on here. Now later on in the game, if we get to that film, he will expand and it opens up the running lane again. Looking at how we can manipulate the linebackers, second level players, and outside linebackers to keep them out of the box or get them to run out of the box to open up our running lanes. Okay, this is stick to the one receiver side. Now what we get here is we get a guy darting out of here, opening up room for us. He takes 2 or 3 false steps. Okay, he's not there for the hammer on that tackle. Where if he doesn't expand and he's coming in here and flowing with the play, he might make a tackle for a 2-yard gain. Instead, we get about an 8-yard gain out of it because he's overreacting to the outside because he's used to us, throwing the ball in those windows behind him. So he's overly cautious about staying inside. So he's worried about what's going in behind him. Again, just those little false steps is what we're looking for when we're running our RPOs. It's not necessarily are we going to get the pitch and catch. Those are great, especially from an air raid guy, that wants to throw the ball. But when you can get a team, flying out of there and open up your running game, there's nothing more, irritating as a defensive coach than watching someone run down your throat and your guys are going the wrong direction. And even up top, because we will attach an RPO to both sides. Now, this is the active side most of the times because we love running backside RPOs. Now, if we ran any type of cross action and brought the quarterback in, or because we can run counter the other direction with the back going across and blocking the backside in, we have a train on this side as well. So we got 3-on-3 here, so it's not good numbers, but still, we get this guy to move out a couple steps. It helps us get into that crease in the running game and add some yardage to what we're getting in that run. And that's really what we're trying to get out of it is just a couple false steps. Okay, now here we go again. Safety's playing deep. Now, sometimes we'll drive him if the safety is flat foot. If he's going to sit here at 5 or 7 yards off, and we know that's going to be the case, we'll take number 3 and we'll drive him vertical to tie that safety up, and we'll bring number 2 in behind it, and we'll run the stick with him. But here he starts to bail. He's been doing this continually all night, walking up here, showing that he's gonna try to take number 3 away. He walks out, okay, and we're able to throw the ball right in front of him. We get about a 7-yard gain. Maybe even 8. Okay, now we're into some train action on the RPO. So we love boundary train, or I know Coach Salas calls it Larry and Roger, but we love boundary screens here. We'll go trips to the boundary quite a bit. People are definitely sitting there looking at film and saying, hey, if they're trips to the boundary, they're ready for a now screen, even though there's not a lot of space. So they know that we're sending two guys out now, and then we're going to bring a tackle and a guard along with them when we run our now screen. So they're very cautious about what we're giving up into the boundary here, and that enables us to get at least one linebacker to step out of the box, maybe even hesitate a reaction by the wheel backer on the backside, and that gives us some good space to run there as well. So it's not always about getting them to do much more than squat instead of playing fast. And of course, that linebacker did miss a kill shot in the hole, but that's football for you. But because he doesn't have support from his outside linebacker, this guy's in great position if he doesn't have any outside influence to make the play that the other linebacker missed, but he's 2 steps away because he's worried about what's happening to the boundary side. Okay, now we've got another stick here. Now this guy, this is a good read by our quarterback. Now when I first watched it, I'm like, man, why aren't we throwing the ball to him? But number 3 is actually expanding, because we have hit him a couple of times in this game on this seam route or stick route, depending on what was tagged in that particular case. And he's expanding, and because he's late, now he gets in on the play. But if you've watched Licking Valley play this year, you know that he's a really good linebacker for him, and he makes a lot of people hurt on a Friday night. This is a soft blow because he's taken multiple steps in the wrong direction. He sees run, everything he sees says run, but because he's getting tired of this stick getting caught in this window over here. Whether he's been coached to or it's just because, he's tired of what's happening, he's expanding, trying to take that away. That's fine with us. We will still, we'll take the running yardage over the passing yardage when given that opportunity. It's if they do this, we do this. We're not predetermining what we're going to do. We're waiting to see how the defense is going to react, and we're trying to make them wrong as often as possible. I'm going to try to get into, see where we're at on the film. I'm going to get into some of our train now. So we've seen a lot of stick. Now we're into our train on where it's truly what's being called on the backside of the screen. So now we're looking at expanding here. Now, here's a point of emphasis. And this is one of the things that we're going to be doing a lot less of because of what's happened over the last few years in coaching this. We've always went ahead and say, hey, we're running train. If I don't tag something on our running game, our receivers know that we're running train. And what happens when you do that, at least what I've felt like's happened, is these guys don't necessarily come out with the same emphasis in their blocking assignments as if I called 26 train. So if I call it, these guys are like, hell, it's live, let's go get it. But if it's just, hey, we're running 26, we're supposed to run train, they don't always come out here with the same hunger to root these guys out. And even when this guy is open and our quarterback decides that the numbers are good and he's gonna make it live, the blocking isn't always there. So we're gonna move away from the whole it's always gonna be this, it's always gonna be this on the backside. We're gonna constantly rotate our tags between stick and train and bubble. And it's not just going to be some random thing. It's going to be based on how's the defense playing us, obviously. But when we're in the boundary, train's probably coming because we love that. We love that block. We love that basically 29 sweep to this X or the Z on the boundary side, and getting an athlete in space with a couple big blocks and he's up the sideline. You got a 70-yard play on a 0-yard route. And I would say, hey, we're throwing this ball. Okay, we're throwing this ball. He's getting first threat. He's coming to help. He's chasing. We're looking at an athlete, a soft corner. I would want to throw this ball. Okay. Now, one of the things that we did not do well, and it was part of the problem is because our blocking was not always there. Our outside receiver, instead of running this like a true now screen where he's faking his release and coming back and stopping right there, they got to the point where they started leaking in and making it more like a tunnel than it is a now screen. And that's one of the things we'll be working on to correct that. Number one, the blocking, and number two, this guy, sitting and letting the blocking come out and then getting inside of it and then back to the sideline as fast as possible. But again, not perfect blocking, but we still have ourselves basically a 7-8 yard gain, and we're in a good position. Your first down, we're a completion driven offense. We want to catch the ball and move the sticks. I don't know too many people out there playing with 15 or 16 varsity players on a Friday night like we did last year at Lakewood. Now, we have a good first level group, but we've got where they're playing everything. So we're looking to catch the ball, get first downs, and play a more methodical version of an air raid than I'm used to from where I came from and my roots. But you've got to do what's best for your team, and we're just looking at getting first downs, keeping our defense on the sideline, or at least keeping our defense playing offense here. Okay, again, boundary. We're probably looking at, at a train, and I'm not telling a tale that nobody that plays us doesn't already know. We love train to the boundary. Now, quarterback didn't like it for whatever reasons, numbers, but we have people flying out of there, worried about the train, okay, or at least taking a peek. What am I doing? Should I commit to the run? Any indecision is good for us. And because 17 right here has some indecision, we're able to get past this linebacker. First, place that linebacker. 17 can't make a play that he should be able to make. Okay, now we're getting into some bubble here. Again, just one of our top 3 RPOs. Now, this is not Lakewood. This is actually a team I used to coach down in North Carolina at East Wake. Now, we didn't run as much bubble as I'm used to committing to on a given Friday night at Lakewood. And I will tell you, just like I tell anybody else, I tell the kids this. We had track stars at slot, okay, at East Wake. These guys were 4.5, 4.4s, maybe at the slowest guy, 4.6 guy, playing slot receiver for us at East Wake. So we loved the pressure that bubble put on defenses, expanding our splits and then getting to the numbers as fast as possible and putting a guy that's, quick feet. Once he hits a crease, he's gone. And, you'll see that here in this play where it doesn't look like much is going to happen, but the corner to the boundary side here is going to make a bad angle, and we're going to be up the sideline running fast. And this is what I love about bubble. Okay, one man misses, we're gone. Okay, you want to commit too many people to the box, we're okay with that as well. And that's where bubble is something that I really love, when you got teams that are like in the other luxury that we had at East Wake most of the time that I was there. I would say every year we had a really good running back, but we usually had a good running back, and we had usually had a really good quarterback, athletic quarterback. This guy that's playing quarterback here is not that particular cat. He's actually one of our receivers that's come in to end the season after our quarterback broke his ankle. But just a little pitch and catch. This guy's, down inside. They're loading the box. You're not going to run counter. We got a back that's a horse that, just pounds people, and they're sell to stop the run. And we're up the sideline in a hurry because they're overly committed to stopping the run. We block one guy, and we've got an 80-yard touchdown pass. And that's what I love about bubble. Okay. Again, this is actually a better East Wake team. This is same premise though. We're in a 3-by-1 here. We're in the boundary. We like our numbers in this particular case. This guy, again, he's fast as all get out, good quick feet, makes people miss in tight spaces and gets extra yardage all the time. They're keeping their guys in the box. Okay, they know we'll run train because this is Coach Salas's team back in North Carolina, so he knows me. We're going to run Roger here a lot. But we go ahead and we block the corner, block this outside linebacker, and bubble here and get up that sideline. It's not a huge gain, but it's enough to make the defense start to respect the fact that we will come out here, and it's going to open up our running game later on. And I know Coach Salas loves to run the counter, and other people do like to run the counter to the screen, the bubble screen in particular. And I do as well, but that action going across the face, pulling these guys and getting these guys to chase it is what I really like about the bubble. I prefer it the opposite way. I know if you're trying to set up the run, it's probably better going to the bubble, but I want to set up the pass. I want these guys to run away from my receivers so I can get people in space that can make a home run. And in this particular case, this guy's going to hit a home run before this guy is. So that's who I want to have the ball. Back to some Lakewood film. Okay. Again, and this is a beauty, this is probably one of our best receivers. I would say these two guys are our best receivers. Now, they're playing way too tight. Their spacing's not as good as I would like it. I'd rather them be wider. But either way, we're getting these guys aligned out of the box, and they're going to chase someone that is not necessarily going to get the ball, okay? So we're getting both of those guys turning their back, eyeing a bubble, and now we're going to run counter in there. And if we get a good block here from 58 on this defensive end, we have a touchdown here. Now, we run counter a couple of different ways, and that'll be a different conversation. But, he's blocking back on this 3 technique or this 5 for whatever reason, depending on how we want to block it that particular, night. And just letting the tackle. So not the 5, but the 3 technique. It looked like he was a shade there, but I guess he is outside. It doesn't look like it, but I guess he's outside of our guard. So we went ahead and we ran dart here. But if he makes one block here, we've just eliminated this guy and we've eliminated this guy. And we're getting up on their second level linebackers. Yeah, the safety's there. But we have a touchdown in my mind. We have a touchdown if we stay on that defense alignment just for a second longer. Our back finds the crease and he gets into the end zone. Okay, and those are the things that we're just looking for influences with our RPO. Any false steps, and I know I keep saying this, but it's the truth of the beast, right? Where we don't care which way it goes. I personally want to throw the ball, okay, but we train our quarterback. Coach Lee does a good job of training our quarterbacks to read this. If he's flying out, he's taking the bubble away. And this is a man release because this guy's manning us up. We don't even have to block him. We're just going to run up the sideline. And if we do throw the bubble, if this guy stays in, we're chasing that. Who knows when he's going to turn around and realize that there's someone with the ball behind him. Those are all good things for us offensively. Now we got a little stick here. Now we're going into transitioning here. Those of you that are going to be watching this, we're transitioning from our RPOs attached to our runs to truly running the play itself. And as I mentioned earlier, we want our RPOs to protect our run and our runs to protect our RPOs, but we also want them to influence each other. So we run stick a lot, and we'll run it with number 3 expanding on the bubble and number 2 sneaking in. We'll run it with the R coming out of the backfield. We'll bring someone in motion and bring it across, and we'll bring someone in motion and we'll block on the train. So we're trying to get these defenders to second guess what they think they see so that we have an advantage just for a second. And that's all we really need is that advantage for just for a second. If we get the ball in the right person's hands, as all of us knows, if the right guy's got the ball in his hands and someone's just a half a step behind, it's a home run. And that's what we're trying to create with our different RPOs attached to our runs and with our different screen games and quick games, influencing each other as well. Because right here, with our stick, okay, we want to get to the point where this guy doesn't know whether I'm driving in here to drive him home into the ground with his back expanding on an R bubble, or if he's running stick and we're truly trying to get him the ball in this space. So if he's expanding, he's thinking, is this guy coming to block me, or is he trying to run a route where I stand? That's the indecision that we're trying to create with this concept. So it helps our bubbles. If this guy is like, we're truly coming to block, and he's sitting here thinking, hey, they're coming down inside. This guy's coming down inside and he's coming to block me. So he's not in a hurry to chase the back out of the backfield. We just created any indecision that we create is an advantage to us offensively. And we try to tie that into as many components of our offense as we can. So we don't have the athletic advantage on a Friday night. especially against Licking Valley. We have to create advantages through misdirection or misinformation as much as possible. Now, that's a kill shot if we're blocking him, because his head's on a swivel. He's not really, he doesn't know. I mean, he peeks, but by the time he peeks, just imagine if we were coming down in there to crack number 3. He peeks. He's on the ground. And, Snydak, 83, he was one of our better blockers, definitely one of our more aggressive tight ends as far as blocking goes. So if that's a crack, he's on the ground and we're in space. Now 7's coming down. He may be able to help, but still that potential, I'll say big block, because I don't want to say the wrong politically incorrect things here. For those of you that don't like people on the floor. So moving on. And here's stick again. And a couple of things we did wrong here, and I don't mind pointing that out, and I guess anybody that's watching that knows what's going on knows it. If this guy's running a stick, he's running a clear route. He's out. This guy's running the stick behind him. He shouldn't be floating through the window. This guy right here is supposed to be running a hitch at the top, but he starts to leak inside because, receivers like to get open, and they don't always understand that by being covered, you might be opening someone else up. And we don't want this guy coming with you to help on there. But if this guy sits down, or 83, if he sits down where he's supposed to, that corner can't help. But he goes too far, and he's bringing a defender with him. We still get a good pitch and catch here, get some yardage, but it could have been so much more had we run the play that we were supposed to. Okay. And again, 7 releases 83 into this big window right here. 3's chasing our tight end up the seam, or our T up the seam. Okay, we've got a lot of space here. We just sit down and take advantage of it. Okay, we're in space. We turn and we get some more yardage. 7's releasing him, coming out here to take it back, who did not run. If anybody heard this in the past, we want this guy driving 5 and then getting to the numbers. Okay, we don't want him floating out here, always not throwing me the ball and stopping. We want that defender to chase him as wide as we can take him, so he doesn't have a chance to get into the tackle or strip the ball later if he's chasing the play down. But still, big play for us against a really good defense. Okay, we're going to be looking at this. I believe he bails out. I'm trying to remember why I tagged him, but we'll see it here in just a second. Yeah, he gets out. So we've got numbers here. Now we're running our train to our it's more the middle of the field, but still, we're running this running back out here. He's supposed to, if this corner sits, we're going to block him here. The corner bells, the back is coming to hit the corner as he recovers on the play. So he doesn't get there, but we still get some decent yardage out of here. He's going to go get number 7. The safety's out. We've got numbers because we already have a 3-on-2 advantage. Safety gets out. We're not counting him anyway, and we're bringing 2 horses out in the flat to help block now. So we're running a train here. The S is expanding. Now we can run action across. We didn't do that nearly as much as I want to. We will definitely be doing that. So we know we're running train, but we're not going to run it with a run influence. But we still want the linebacker's eyes tied up with this running back coming across. So we'll run it with some type of play action where he catches the ball, but he's going across, simulating the fact that we are running, whether it's stretch outside zone or we're running counter. It doesn't matter what the linebacker's eyes tell them. We're just trying to get them to freeze a little bit so our offensive lineman can get out and run the alley and get those sill blocks. Okay. Again, very productive play versus a great defense because we're taking advantage of space and slowing their flow down with and they're bringing the house or number 3, so that helps us a little bit because honestly he's a really good linebacker. I've said that before. So he if he reads it, he's probably out there giving us a little bit more of a interference here, but he comes, we catch him in a good situation. Okay, a little bit more blocking, and we've got ourselves a home run there. You're a guy diving at the ankles away from getting up that sideline. And we do, again, we bring it back too far. Okay, we want to get now. We should be getting outside. I know he's number 20. There's some hesitation there, but guess who's supposed to be blocking number 20? The back is, and he's helping out on someone that's already being blocked, which is a problem. Okay, that all of us understand needs to be taken care of. But there's no reason. He's already blocked. We're inside of him. Go get your corner, and we've got a bigger play. Okay, these guys, and the reason I pointed these guys out is because of their angles. Okay, because of their angles. What has happened continually this game is we've run stick. So these guys are not running their typical downhill 45, let's cut it off angles. They're taking more of a 90-degree, let's make sure that we're covering that stick route, we're getting flat, and I think that gives us an advantage here. Any of those false steps, bad angles that we create because of the influence of one play versus the other. Whether stick influence and train, bubble influence and stick, we're looking for all of those factors in creating big plays. Okay, here's and this is more the block. This guy's he's not sure what's going on. He expands with number 2, who's going to get the corner here. Corner ran out, but he's still coming out here. Depending on the tag, the back might be running the alley, might be running to kick this corner. So in this particular case, if this guy's expanding to the corner, then we've assigned the back to the safety. So he comes out, he widens out with number 2, and we get ourselves a nice sill block or kick block with number 3 on him, and we're able to sneak inside and get back out to the sideline. And this is early, and this is going to be a really good block. Unfortunately, it draws a penalty because more of the celebration from our receiver than anything, and talking to the officials after the game, or not after the game, but after this happened. It's more the celebration than it is the block. But I know in today's game, this is probably on most Friday nights going to draw a flag, but we want this type of attitude. We want this linebacker thinking, where's he coming? Is again, this is off that stick influence. Is he coming down inside to run a route? Is he coming down inside to wear me out? And we want this linebacker to think about those possibilities. He may be assigned to this back as he expands on the bubble, okay? But, last time that happened, this guy snuck in beside me, and they caught it for 5 and got 15 out of it. So how fast or how slow is he going to play is something that we're counting on either way. again, don't stand over the guy. You hit him. Go get someone else. But great influence. Now the next time we run our bubble, okay, he's going to be looking out for that, and he's going to be slow to play. The next time we run stick, he's going to be thinking about that, and we're going to get the back on the swing regardless, because he's not covering his man, because he's worried about, hey, someone just wore me out the last time they ran that action. So either one of those influences is good for us, and that's what we're trying to create in our offense, especially when we're limited personnel wise, and we want to catch the ball in space and get as much out of our athletes as possible. And this is one where, we should make the catch. We're going to drop this, but still, indecision. He's not flying out yet. We've bubbled in the past, but we've handed the ball off, and we've been getting some pretty good chunks against a very good defense in our counter game. So linebacker's not flying out as fast as he should. So we've got a good 5, 6, maybe even more, depending on how things play out, if we catch this ball, okay, because the linebacker's slower to flow. Okay, again, how are we influencing the defenders that are supposed to be helping in the run but are responsible for our slot receivers? Any indecision, any false steps, any bad angles created is going to be an advantage to us, and we need all the advantages, because we are probably 4.7 top speed on our skill receivers. All of our receivers, our best time was probably a 4.7. Everybody else is probably running 4.8, 4.9. So speed is not something we're blessed with. We're blessed with good route running, typically speaking, and we're blessed with the scheme that we're running that allows us to create space. Okay. Coming here again, running bubble. We get a holding penalty here, but still, again, building off of the stick. Okay, had some horrible blocking here. Should have had some, a decent gain despite that from two guys in the flat, missing their blocks and what have you. And again, it's because of the stick that I believe the bubble goes for us, because it's definitely not speed. It's definitely not speed. This guy, is he coming to block me? Is he coming to run a route? Okay. Again, is he coming to block me? Is he coming to run a route? And that's what we've got to hold our hat on at this point in time at Lakewood. All right. And that was, again, this is just another action. We run it with some motion. Everybody out there that does this, will create the same type of thing with the motion. Now, the one thing is we run bubble and we run Roger and Larry are now screen. So this guy is either going to be the kicker and we're running our now screen, or he's going to be the bubble guy. You can't commit one way or the other, because we'll do both, and we'll do both quite often. So you can't sell your hat on trying to take one away. The other will beat you. So just trying to create, again, indecision. And a good pitch and catch. And we did run quite a bit of, our bubble was probably the way we ran it the most. Number one, because of the athlete we had in the backfield for the majority of the time. He had decent speed. Again, he's a 4.8 guy. He's not blazing. He had great hands. He was quick with his feet and made great decisions once he had the ball in his hand. And he was an aggressive runner. So we knew that he was going to turn it up most times and get what he could and take advantage of the space given to us out of that. Now, a lot of teams later on, earlier than this game, decided that they wanted to take number 3 away, our tailback, and that opens up other things because they're running out of there like, well, you're not going to run. You're not your back's not going to catch the ball out of the backfield on your stick or your bubble concepts, and that opens up our quarterback runs, which is another thing that we love to do. So in closing, the big thing is, as I said, is we are looking at ways that we can influence the defense, just like most coaches are. I would say all of us in one way or form. We're trying to find out what our athletes can give us, and how we can put them in the best situation to be successful. And when you're not blessed with as much speed as the guys that you're playing against, you've got to find little nuances within the game in order to create space for your guys that don't have the speed to create it for themselves, so that you can get the 5 and the 6 and the 7 and occasionally bust one out for a big game. And that's the nature of our offense is we want to make sure, number one, we're catching the ball. We don't want to run passing plays for incompletions, obviously. We're not just throwing deep balls to throw deep balls. There's rhyme or reason behind it. We're trying to get people to commit down into the box to stop our run and to stop our short game, our quick game, and our screens, so that we can get that vertical presence in our offense. Because if they're playing off of us, we're not running by them. So we've got to get them to creep up, to say you're not running hitches, you're not running sticks, you're not running screens. It's just not going to happen. And the more they creep up, the more they get anxious because we keep doing it. That's when we're going to find the big home run in the passing game, is when you feel that anxiety in that defense where they're tired of us catching the ball in front of them. That's when we'll go over top. But this is how we set it up.